Now we're going to be demonstrating the use of the Barnhart 1-2, which is a universal curette. As you know, the universal curette has two cutting edges. When you look at the face of the instrument, you can see that the face is perpendicular to the terminal shank. In selecting the correct end, once again, you are going to orient the instrument into the distal. You're looking at the terminal shank to make sure that it is parallel to that distal surface. If the instrument looks like this, you have selected the wrong end. So you need to turn and make sure that the terminal shank is parallel. Now with the universal curette, you need to insert it before you can utilize it appropriately. Inserting it will orient the cutting edges so as not to traumatize the tissue. So once you've selected the correct end, you are going to slightly dip the handle to close the face. You're going to slide the instrument in at the distal line angle. You're going to insert it into the subgingival area, and you're going to make sure the side of the toe or the toe third is against the tooth, and then you're going to raise the instrument, which will open up the cutting edge, and then you're going to once again execute those nice oblique overlapping strokes into the interproximal and out. In order to do the facial into the interproximal or mesial, once again you're going to turn the toe facing mesially. Once again we're going to drop the handle slightly so that the face is closed off. We can insert the instrument below the tissue. Once the instrument is inserted into the tissue, we can raise the handle, open the blade, and execute the strokes across the interproximal. And as we go around the distal line angle, it's important to keep that terminal shank parallel, so raise your handle slightly and bring the instrument around up under the contact and out. Okay. After we have selected the correct end, we want to insert the working toe at the distal line angle, drop the handle slightly, and insert the tip into the gingival tissue sulcus, raise the handle, and then begin to activate our stroke into the interproximal. Turn the handle or instrument towards the mesial. Once again, drop the handle slightly to insert into the sulcus, raise the handle, and execute the stroke around the facial into the interproximal. Once again, noting that the terminal shank is parallel to that mesial surface. The anterior Barnhart, the Barnhart 5-6, you'll notice that the design of the Barnhart is a little smaller. The terminal shank is a little shorter. It is able to be inserted in the anterior region as well. So once again, we're going to be dividing the surfaces in half. We're going to do surfaces towards and surfaces away. Surfaces towards, you sit at 8 o'clock. You select the correct end by placing the toe third at that midline point. If the instrument looks like it curves around and that you cannot see the face of the instrument facing you, then you have the correct end. Let me demonstrate what the incorrect end would look like. Once again, you're placing the toe third on the tooth. Notice how the face of that instrument is facing towards you, which means that outer cutting edge is in a position to lacerate, and you know that you have an incorrect instrument position or selection of the incorrect end. Select the correct end. Notice the toe third is positioned at the midline, and once again we have to do a slight insertion to make sure that we don't lacerate as we submerge the instrument subgingivally. So we're going to tilt slightly away from the direction of our stroke, tuck the instrument down, bring the instrument back into a working position again, and then execute our stroke around the facial into the interproximal, go halfway up under the contact and out. You're going to do surfaces towards from 8 o'clock. Once again, dip, insert, establish, and around. Okay, once you've done all the surfaces towards you, and once again, remember you're going to be starting from canine to canine. It doesn't matter whether you start from the right or the left or left or the right. Once all the surfaces towards you are complete, you're going to go to the 12 o'clock position, utilizing your finger to retract the tissue. You're going to once again place the instrument at the midpoint, drop the handle away from the direction of your stroke slightly to be able to insert, raise the handle to establish your working angulation, and execute your stroke, keeping the toe third adapted. Up and out. Okay, let's just do one more too so I can demonstrate that.